Welcome to Top of the Drops, Gala's weekly show featuring the best in Web3 music. I'm Taco, your host, and today is special because I'm going to chat with other Taco. But before that, let's hear the top drops from last week.
Thanks, Taco. That's right, the Dropbot is back to bring you the top drops of the week from Gala Music. And first up, we've got Jack with Break Lights. The music captures Jack's ultimate rock star fairy tale. It's the song where she allows herself to let loose and live her most wild and carefree lifestyle. And this drop is now fully sold out! Next up, we've got Mia with Gypsy Woman. On Sound XYZ, Mia's cover of Gypsy Woman by Crystal Waters is an absolute bomb. I don't know, maybe it is, I haven't listened to it. Somebody has written this script! Next up, it's Real Life by Daniel Allen with Kiddo Dust. On Sound XYZ, Real Life is a record that started off with an instant DM to Kiddo Dust, a super talented 19-year-old up-and-comer. And this record really showcases his versatility. Available on Sound XYZ, it's currently sold 1,094 editions. Heartbreak Closer by Sammy Arriaga with Ray Isla. Sammy Arriaga and Ray Isla are making history with the first ever country music duet on the blockchain, in collaboration with TK and the amazing community at Campfire. This song is minted 103 editions. In at number 1, it's Grave Digger by September Morning on Gala Music. This song is a visceral, heavy, and dynamic track through dub electronics, heavy bass tones, screaming guitars, and lyrics. The song exemplifies how rage can be used positively to take power back from something or someone who doesn't have your best interests at heart. This track is now fully sold out! That's all from me, Taco. It's back to you in the studio.
Thank you, as always, Dropbot. I first almost met Player1Taco at NFT NYC when we were both doing our best to confuse Emily from September Morning. It seemed like he would be the perfect nemesis because we're both tacos in the Web3 space and everybody needs a nemesis. But it turns out he is a really cool guy and I like him. And so I think we're just going to stick to being frenemies. He was kind enough to host me on his space last week for around 7 hours. And I thought it'd be fun to have him pop on Top of the Drops. So here is my time with other Taco. I am thrilled to have a chance to welcome other Taco to chat on Top of the Drops. Player1Taco, Taco, other Taco, all things that I'll probably refer to you as over the course of our conversation. How are you doing, sir?
I am doing well. Taco. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. So we didn't meet at NFT NYC, but that's where I first became aware of you when Emily from September Morning famously mistook us for one another. And I'm not convinced that even today she knows which one of us is which.
I think that there's enough there. Like, will this story never die, or is this going to be always the story that goes? But yeah, no. We were literally 15 feet, 20 feet away from each other. Like, because you were waiting. You were patient. You're like, oh, she looks like she's having an important conversation.
Yeah.
She was telling me about her drop and that I was helping with it and where is it going to be.
She was having an important conversation with me, but it wasn't actually me.
And I told her I didn't work for Gala. And she's like, you don't work for Gala? But what about my drop and my music? And like, I was like, yeah, all right, I'm going to help find this out. And
Yeah. And it turns out you're not the worst.
mm-mm.
We spent some time chatting last week. I wanted to, so I purposefully, for this chat, didn't wear my hat.
Okay.
Because you brought up last week, for those who weren't in our space last week, you asked me the very important hat question. What are you covering up under there? Because I always wear a hat. So I thought this would be a good time to recap for the community that I'm hella bald, but I'm not covering that up because I was gifted with, I think, a near perfectly shaped head. Like I pull this off, right? Like you start losing your hair, and it's like some people don't want to shave their hair because their heads might not be shaped as perfectly as mine. I don't feel like that's a brag because it's, because I've got it. But the reason I actually wear a hat, as we sort of almost started discussing, which is a fun story for another day, I've had a kidney transplant and I'm on a whole bunch of immunosuppressants, which make me a ton more likely to get skin cancer. And so I wear a hat every day just out of habit to just be covered from the sun. It's why I wear sweatshirts in the summertime, just to be, guarded from the sun who's trying to murder me. Yeah, but I wanted to, at least with you, not wear the hat so we're on the same page. I'm not hiding anything. I'm a handsome man
I
with a beautifully shaped head.
you are, and you had a beard last time we talked, not even a week ago.
Yeah, I kind of shaved that a little bit.
Yeah, and so last time when I saw you, I had a whole lot of hair, but I went and had a haircut and a beard trim, cleaned it up a little bit. My favorite hat that I had, my railgun hat, actually died this weekend on Sunday. Um, I was jet skiing and decided to hit 60 miles per hour, and the wind took, it was great, and then the wind took it,
I,
and it went lost in the ocean.
I, f- I feel like you should have known better wearing a hat going 60 miles an hour.
I did, and it's one of those things where I kept taking it off and leaving it at home, and then putting it back on out of sheer habit, and then I was like, oh no, I'm gonna lose, and then next thing you know, I'm on the Sea-Doo, and I'm like, okay, and it just didn't happen. So yeah, I'm because people wonder the same thing about me if I'm hiding baldness because they're like, I only ever see you in a hat.
Yeah, it's part of your look. But you have a beautiful head of hair. You're not hiding anything.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So the people who, the editing team here at Gala is going to watch these first 5 minutes and they're going to think, we're cutting all of this, right? And for me, this has to be the stuff people want to hear about.
Right, this has to be.
It has to
Don't
be.
cut it. Don't cut it, Gallup.
Don't you
Bucks,
dare.
leave it.
Don't you dare.
Here,
So,
wait.
but we should talk about you, since you're here as a guest on the show. You do things totally, I think, kind of amazing. You're in the Web3 space. You're in blockchain, NFT, all the stuff. You're a self-described hyper connector. I can barely keep track of Gala music and Gala film. Your your awareness of all of the projects that are happening is, I think, astounding. Can you do you want to just tell people sort of like what's your deal? How did you get into all this? Why is it important to know about everything that's happening? I guess that's the question. What's the story, Other Taco?
I got into blockchain um, about 11 years ago. Um, was running some cash in and out business, and I wanted to keep more cash. And like I'd heard about Bitcoin the year before, and I was like, oh, that's sort of cool. And I had access to a computer lab, And so I partitioned half the hard drives into Bitcoin miners, because they were on 24/7 and barely being used, So why not use CPU mining? And so wasn't very, I wasn't pulling in all the Bitcoins, um, but it was enough that it was, a steady flow for me. Um, and then I sold that business, um, and moved out of sports, and uh, it was just sort of something there. And then I was really interested in the idea of blockchain, because I was at a part in my life where I was angry here and there, or I had gotten over a lot of the anger I had as a youth, and I was like trying to do something different, and I was trying to rationalize with myself why. Um, the Satoshi white paper came out with a mathematical formula that basically said incentivized that it's better for everyone if a majority, and it doesn't even have to be a big majority, if just plus one is good. So it doesn't matter how many bad actors there are and how strong they are, and it doesn't matter how many good actors they are and how weak they are. As long as there's plus one good actor, one block completed first, everyone benefits from it. And so it was one of those things to where if I'm not paying attention to what other people are doing, I don't have to pay attention to what other people are doing. But if I'm being a plus one good actor, hopefully someone else is too, and enough, sort of work to do better. And I know that sounds really cheesy and stuff like that, because we're all in it for, financial freedom and data and all these cypherpunk reasons. But really, it was really simple to me, just that concept. And it was really easy for me to pick up. Um, and so I, I got through a lot of stuff, because I buried myself in tech. I buried myself in code, and um, there was just so much going on. I could never learn enough. So what I sort of jokingly say is, I quit drinking like 16 years ago or so, because I mastered it, and I didn't know what to do. So I wanted to get into something I couldn't master. So I picked blockchain, you know. Um, and then as far as like just, it's really easy to put your blinders on and just focus in on one thing, but there's so much more going on. Like, since you and me talked last a week ago, I've learned of three new layer ones coming out. Um, and these are like monolithic chains that are wanting to provide infrastructure support to industries. Um, and two new like major protocols that are working with like high-end luxury brands and stuff like that, or even a smaller project that wants to make sure that musicians earn their royalties on copyrights. And putting that stuff on blockchain really sort of makes it easy to see all of that and know what is the original, what are derivatives, and who should get what. Now, does that always happen? No, but it lays the groundwork to see it and have it be done that way. So I think it's just a really interesting new way of doing things. We're so used to um, just depositing checks into our bank account and spending money, and you try to move your own money, and your bank will either try to convince you not to, or tell you to take a loan, in some way, shape, or form, or whether it's extending you a line of credit, or you know taking a loan out. And it's just interesting, that why not spend the money that we make and live within our means? Are there extenuating circumstances sometimes? Yes. So there is still a purpose for the fiat industry, the banking industry and all of that until it moves on chain, and we create personas on chain that become credit worthy. But at the same time, I think it's really interesting to see uh, a new way of doing things.
Um, and it feels like it must be part of that your philosophy. I'm a good actor. I'm a plus one. Then turns into you wanting to connect people and to educate and to hype and to share out. Because following you on Twitter, it's a lot of, hey, check out this thing. Look at what these people are doing. Like we had the space last week, and immediately after, I saw you trying to connect Emily from September Morning with Permissionless to get them hooked up. Is that just always been a part of who you are, to like, hey, let's bring all of this stuff together? Because that's not, I think, a normal instinct.
Um, yeah, it's really easy, especially when you can file and catalog things. I guess you're like, someone that you met 3 4 weeks ago or a couple months ago, just sort of, file trigger something when you meet someone new, and you're like, oh, you're looking for this, they provide that, and especially it's when it's people you've met. I think that's one of the reasons why, like, one of the big things I'm known for, or recognized at least for, is I wear all the badges over the last 14 months or so since COVID stopped, or, not COVID stopped, but the world opened back up after COVID. Um, and that's one of those things too. We were talking earlier about continuous things. Do I just show up one day with just that one event badge on?
Yeah, if for people who haven't seen you at a con, like at VCon or at NFT NYC, it's it's almost comical how many lanyards you have. Like it's how do you know offhand how many that is? Because it's tons.
Yeah, I think the count is around. I think between wristbands and lanyards, it's around 80-ish or so, because not all conferences have a lanyard or a wristband, or if they have a paper one, So, um, yeah, they are. Um, they're right over there. Let me see if I can get them real quick.
Grab them.
Uh, yeah, that is, you know, that's that, and that's the wristbands. And what's really hilarious is I hear so many people say, "Oh, well, I have them all at home too, but I just chose I'm not wearing them." And I'm like, "Well, you say you have them at home, but you know, it's one thing to say something, but like blockchain, now everyone can see."
Yeah,
So,
it's. I think it's pretty cool because it's. I also have mine, but it's like 8. It's not 80. And so, and that, which also must be a pretty good conversation starter. Like people see that, and it's like, oh, what's wrong with you? And you can, you break into the whole thing with them.
exactly. And it's like, especially when it's blockchain, conference, I use sort of blockchain terminology like proof of stake, proof of authority, proof of work, proof of history, a resume. How do you say you get everywhere? You know?
Yeah, for sure. That's pretty hardcore. It's also pretty hardcore that you've been doing a space every day for 308 days.
Um, so this show in particular, Taco Bites, today was the 306th episode, and I like to bill it as the worst Twitter show, the worst show on Twitter. It's Taco Bites, your daily bite of degen, you know, and I'm consistently inconsistent with it, you know. So, but it happens every day. wherever I'm at.
Right. So
You
maybe
know,
you're doing a proper hour-long show, or maybe you're just at Waffle House.
I haven't. Yeah, but I've done some amazing shows like outside events. You know, talking to founders. One I was during NFT NYC. Uh, I was interviewing a project. It was like Nakamigos and Shell Orbs, their party. You know, was interviewing different people about their view on blockchain, and then it turned into an impromptu interview with Ben Armstrong, BitBoy Crypto. You know, so it's just really interesting and fun. You know, you never know what will happen. Um, so yeah, and that was with video and everything. So. Or I did one live on stage once. That was fun.
That would be fun. It's cool.
How
We do a decent number of spaces, but every day feels like a lot.
yeah, you know, you know, it's one of those things where some days um it's like, oh shoot, I gotta do it. I haven't done it yet. It's like 11 o'clock at night and you're like, but I want to go to sleep or I want to go to this next thing or and you're like, all right, I'll do it. And I'm planning on just doing it like for like 5 minutes, doing a quick bite. And then like as soon as I open it up, like 10 people hop in and I'm like, oh, dang it, people want to talk about today. All right. And then the next thing you know, it's like 5 hours long, you know. Um, I don't know. I think the uh, biggest space live was like around 600 people with like 200 plus replays. That was pretty cool, you know. Um, but average, you know, I try to keep the average very low, and that takes skill. I'm I'm really worried about tomorrow's episode because I started promoting it almost 24 hours in advance, so I'm worried about how many people are going to show up. Uh, I can't really carry the bill of the worst show on Twitter, if you know. But I'm interviewing Zybeck Protocol and Nautilus Chain, a new layer one. So yeah.
Which is amazing. If people are interested in blockchain, they should follow you. They should go to your spaces. This is a terrible question. I know it ahead of time. What's what's one piece of advice you would give like a new person? Like I come to you and I say, "Hey, my name's also Taco. I don't know anything about blockchain or anything. Where do I start?" What do you tell people?
Um, so I do a couple different things. Like if they are not in blockchain at all, but they want to start, um, I do a couple things. If they're willing to get into it, um, I onboard them into Coinbase, and I send them my Coinbase referral code. Um, on the off chance that they take it the extra steps and they do invest, you know, I get I think like $10. But Coinbase lays it out really simple that if they just do their onboarding and their KYC, they give them about $40. And what I've noticed is people that use I don't know if Coinbase is like tracking me now. It would be really cool. Hi, Coinbase. Um, but like people that are using my code get about $70 over 2 months, you know, of free crypto just for doing their little learn and earns. And what Coinbase really did really well is they upgraded their learn and earns. It used to just be their simple little questions and then nothing else, but now they provide links to learn more, which I think is really cool. And so that's sort of where I start. I'll start with like Coinbase or crypto.com. And you hear like real big degens, you know, not your keys, not your crypto. I believe that as well, but I also believe we have to trust at some point institutions that allow us to on ramp and off ramp. Um, you know, and so I think that that's sort of where to start, you know, um, because it teaches people the ins and outs and it tells people about MetaMask and I'm like, well, I'm here if you need it, if you have any more questions. If they're already in it, I'll even go a step farther and teach them about like MEXC, which is a trading platform, so they could sort of get into some of that stuff a little bit deeper. Um, Dexes and the Dex I'm part of. So, you know, I'm you know teach them about different tokens like on Polkadot and Moonbeam, Stella Swap. Huge shout out to my Stella Swap team. And um, the different things that are done make it really. There's so much out there that you can get lost in the woods, but then you and so that's sometimes why people just get focused on one thing, but there's so many other little things that they can do, which is really cool.
It's super cool. That was a great answer.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
you'll help people just because you're a good person.
Yeah, well, a lot of it what's like crazy is because like I go to so many conferences, and what's really interesting is I talk to the wait staff, the staff that have been hired to like help and like the security and stuff like that, or the bartenders, and I'm like, so you've been here for 3 days now, and they're like, yeah, it's a lot of interesting stuff. I've heard my friend talk about it, and I just don't know where to start. And I was like, can I text you? So like you now have my phone number, so you can reach out to me at any time, but like this is what it looks like, and you've heard of it, and you can download it from the App Store. Or when I'm stateside, I drive everywhere. So I drive across. I've driven across the United States like 5 or 6 times this last year, and gas stations across the U.S. have like blockchain stickers on the gas pumps, for projects, or I onboard the gas station clerks.
You've been to a million conferences and you're a really smart guy. Have you thought about having your own conference?
Um, yeah, I have thought about having my own conference. So far right now I'm trying to help out with a conference that's going on in Vegas. I think that's sort of the closest that I've gotten to. I've hosted some events, two different types of, or well, three different types of events that I've held. Um, and it sort of sounds degenic when you say it out loud, but if you pitch it, they will come. It's like a pitch contest. And I do a really horrible thing with it is when it on the sign up sheet, it's like submit your audios, your visuals, like give me all your media stuff, and we're gonna have a great presentation, you know, but we don't know who's going to be presenting until the moment, so if you want to present, and then we pick three random people right then and there, at the piece of it, but then I tell them, nope, you don't get any slides, no AV, nothing. You have 5 minutes to pitch, then you get 5 minutes of actual criticism, not the feel good stuff, but the criticism, and then you get 5 minutes of Q&A back and forth to sort of, hear people. And so um, the reason I do that is because I've seen so many projects present, and I help so many projects with raising funds. They'll make these like 40-page decks, and then when they're presenting them, they like skip through them, like, oh, this doesn't matter, or they spend 10 minutes talking about one slide, and then there's fast pacing through the rest of it. And I'm like, well, if it doesn't matter, it shouldn't be there. If you're trying to get someone with that elevator pitch, you know, get it quick, and it's been really fun. I've done that event 3 times around the world, and then I help me and another friend do crypto cigars and caffeine. So at like cigar lounge meetups around wherever there's a conference and stuff. Had a fun time during VCon, taking over Burn by Rocky Patel with Sal DeGuardia. Sal DeGuardia. I always want to say DiGiorno, but Sal DeGuardia from like the V Friends, and so that was an amazing 4 nights there. Inky was a really big sponsor supporter of that as well, the NFC chip stuff. Um, and it's just fun because it's like a chill. You just have like time, and cigars make you relax and sit back and just like not do a lot except for enjoy the moment, and you get to enjoy the moment with people, that are in blockchain. So it's really cool. And then the third event that I did, I literally called it DGen Takeover. Um, Before they closed them down, Solana had Solana embassies at Hudson Yards in New York and Solana embassies in Wynwood, Miami. And so to rent out the space during public hours, with it being open to the public, was like $700. You didn't get any bells and whistles other than like Solana Spaces like okayed it. And so I was like, yeah, no. Since it's during business hours, we're going to onboard people into Solana. And Solana Embassy had this really cool POAP mission where they would literally onboard you into Solana, download a wallet, learn about little stations, and then they would pay you $10 in USDC. So I gave the tickets away, and I was like, I'll pay you. Solana Embassy will pay you $10 to come and learn about Solana and have a good time, interacting, talking with, networking. So like 30 people signed up, 15 people showed up, and that was like with a 24-hour notice. That never would have actually met or communicated in New York. So Solana Spaces was really cool. After they saw enough posts of me tagging them, they're like, this is not a Solana Spaces approved event, but it's during working hours, so you're all welcome. So
We didn't mean for this to happen, but keep doing it.
yeah, I don't know. Was that a call to arms, like Player1Taco making
Are you talking about TacoCon?
TacoCon? There's TacoCon?
Is it?
Is that what we're calling it?
Isn't? What else are we going to call it?
Oh my God, that's gonna be so much fun.
And other taco has a taco truck.
Yes. Oh my God, let's do this.
Right? We can have it wherever you want. I'll fly to you.
And we can have your music label there too, because you're a producer, right?
I am a producer with a label. Yeah, I would have to probably clear that with Gala.
I thought Gala was the producer in the music label.
I also have my own independent music label, Taco Records.
Taco Records.
We haven't released anything on Gala because I don't know if it's appropriate.
Okay. Is it like snarred?
It's like snarred.
Like grunge snarred? I don't know. What kind of music is it?
Oh, it's listen, we're not genre specific. We're just looking for artists who are passionate about creating great art, being collaborative, the kind of artist who would be like, TacoCon, yeah, that sounds great. I would love to perform at that, without any information about it.
All right.
You're just in. That has to be the vibe for the artists who sign on Taco Records. You're just in. Whatever it is,
Yeah.
send it. Send it.
Send it. Deets? Yeah. All right. I feel like we've just planned the destruction of something, but for positivity.
Absolutely for positivity.
I'm down.
Yeah, destroy it for positivity is the tagline of TacoCon.
Okay. Destroy it with positivity. I feel like that might be a Gary V thing, especially since at VCon he was like, punch kids, and the other tagline that he came up with at the end of that one that I don't think I can say, that might get bleeped out. Did you hear that one?
I don't think I heard that one.
Yeah, he went off, but it was so the premise of Punch Kids was, he was like, kids these days don't see the consequences of actions. Back in the day, a black eye, you either learned something or you lost something, and so he was like, that was sort of like his punch kids should be punched type of thing. And then the next thing he was going off on was the mentality of holding money against your family. You don't do that. Like the way your family was raised, the way you were raised, you didn't put your family down. Like, and I think he was doing that. He was saying this based off of a lot of the mentality sometimes in crypto Twitter, you know, of like sell shaming and or buy shaming people and stuff like that. And he was like, monetary values were passed down to you by your parents, which were passed on to them by their parents. So you probably didn't hold anything against your parents, for how you were raised monetarily and the situation you were raised in. And he's like, if you did hold that against your parents, it's because your grandparents taught them wrong. So F your grandparents. And he's like, that's my whole new track. That's what I'm going to box around.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we're agreeing to not steal taglines from Gary.
Yes.
Okay. We'll come back to the taglines.
But no, destroy it with positivity. I think that's a powerful movement there.
Of course it is. I'm in. We're doing it.
Heck yeah, destroy it with positivity.
At TacoCon.
Yeah. That's okay.
Whatever that thing is, I bet it'd be fun.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be so much fun. All right.
If we each, this has gotten into a terrible interview now. No one wants to watch this. If we each planned half of a conference, and how different that would look.
I think that would be really cool. We'd have musicians, infrastructure, tech,
Yeah.
regulation,
Waffle House.
Yeah. Del
Yeah.
Taco.
No.
Okay, good.
Look at that. Look at me, Del Taco shit. Nothing wrong with Del Taco.
Nothing wrong with Del Taco, but just
No,
not a
I would be
taco.
I would be happy to be sponsored by Del Taco. If they're watching. They're watching, right?
Yeah, they have to. El Scorcho is the bomb.
Yeah.
If they sold El Scorcho sauce in stores, it'd be on.
You can probably get it online. Okay. This 15-minute interview has now gone 35 minutes.
Okay.
It's what happens. But I don't want to take up all your time. So I'm gonna say thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah.
People should follow you on Twitter. What's the actual Twitter handle? Because it's long, right?
Player1Taco, but it's the number one. All one word.
This was great. I'm excited to get hyper connected to the rest of the blockchain universe.
Thank you again for taking the time, Player1Taco, and thanks to everyone who joined us today. Please take the time to like and subscribe to either YouTube or Twitter, wherever you're watching us, and have a great day.